welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm going to bring to you a 3-part series on the ways that I save money. And one of those ways we're going to start is going to be with beauty products. Now, I know this is a big one. All joking aside, food, shelter, the basic necessities, one of the biggest things for people who wear makeup are going to be how to ration their everyday products once we get back into working. And I know we need to save our pennies right now. So one of the things that I've done and I continue to do that I've learned through the makeup world is such a great resource to have these little tidbits of knowledge, because they help you in your everyday savings of not having to replenish some items as much as we go through. Especially with beauty products, how much we go through those products, it's insane. Are spending a lot more money than your non-makeup wearers, and it shows, you know, it's something that we budget for. So here are some of the ways that I save money when it comes to beauty products. Now, first thing is first, mascara. Mascara, and more specifically using eye drops to freshen up mascara. This is probably one of the most simple tools that I have known for the longest amount of time I've been a makeup artist, and it's been one of those things I have very almost weekly do just by nature to keep my mascara lasting the longest I can possibly get it to last, and that's with eye drops. Now, don't use regular water. I don't like the idea of oil, and I mean, if you can find it or use glycerin or aloe, I wouldn't see a problem with that. But one of the biggest things I can't stress enough is how I use eye drops to freshen up and keep my mascara strong. Now, you have to do it as it dries out. Don't overbuy mascara in bulk and think you can stick it in the fridge or just not open it. I usually buy as I go. Every quarter, I'll buy a tube. So every 3 months, I usually go through the same tube or the same 2 tubes. And I have been able to stretch that to 6 months in a pinch. And these are makeup products that I feel like if we use every day to a couple times a week, we go through them very quickly. So mascara is one of the fundamentals that we have to talk about. Moving into the second biggest, at least what I would consider thing that I like to do on a regular basis, is going to be nail polish, or polish in general. Now, there are tons of ways to do your nails, and right now I feel like we are all hurting because we can't go have somebody else do it for us. And so I have found that one of the ways that I have saved money in my entire career in the beauty world, one, because of my profession, I have to wash my hands 10 times a day. I'm also an esthetician, most of you know, so I have to constantly soak and with hot water and soap scrub, and that doesn't keep anything on my nails. So I don't invest, and it doesn't make sense to invest in every 3 weeks getting a fill from either gel or acrylics. So I stick with nail polish, but it dries out, right? Most of the time, the colors that we like and we invest in are neutrals or reds or common colors that we can wear a lot of. And I really just put acetone in them to keep them fresh for long. You know, I invest in the colors that I like. I have the most of those. And then my seasonal colors are my fun, playful colors. I don't feel is that big of an investment over the course of my beauty career, because every time they get a little sticky or goopy, just keep adding it to, shaking it up. Now, some are lost causes, just like with mascara. Some things can't be resurrected if it's to powder or if it's completely solidly dried shut. There's no use in trying to resurrect it. But for the most part, those nail polishes, if you can use as you go and thin out as you go, you're gonna be able to bring that to 2 to 6 months longer than you otherwise were using those beauty products for. So I'm always doing something in either my toes or my nails, and I save the most money this way by really just thinning out these 2 products. These are the biggest money savers I can tell you in my beauty world. Now, moving into the depotting that I have to talk about, because this is another thing that I think people tend to use as an excuse to go buy new makeup. And I can rest assured that if you invest in some key products or some key tools, you're going to be able to save your lipsticks and your palettes, and any sort of pressed powder or shadow that is going to either crack or, as you hit pan, start to lift more in the middle, and you're gonna find that you're either gonna throw it away faster, or it's gonna get dirtier or all over the place faster, so you just huck it, or you don't even bother trying to save it and throw it out and go buy something else, right? Well, I can tell you that by just simply taking, so the third biggest thing we were going to talk about is taking your, like for instance, lipstick palettes or lipstick containers. As they get janky and worn and down to the flat head, you can gut with a toothpick, swoop in, scrape it into a pill container, and you know, the multiple ones where you can have lots of different options, right? That pill container is going to be easily transportable, and you will be able to save 50% of the lipstick, or actually really it's more like a third of the lipstick is actually inside of the container. So just gutting it, keeping it in a nice, neat little organized thing is all you need to be able to use up all of your lipstick for longer and to be able to play with lips a lot more. I find that I love wearing mascara and lipstick and brows and like maybe a little bit of powder. And I that's probably the fundamentals of my basic look. And I can tell you that my lip routine was never really there. I was always an eyes person, you know, brows, mascara, a little bit of powder around this area, and that was it. Until I started bringing in multiples of easy to use lipsticks. And the way that I did that, and to be able to use my variety evenly, so I'm not wearing something out more than others, and I'm getting an even distribution, is depotting lipsticks. So I hope this is one that you haven't already heard, or if you're looking at possibly getting annoyed with, you know, your current lip situation, I can tell you, you can resurrect those bad boys and keep them nice and neat and organized, and it's a fun little quarantine idea to do as well. So keep that in the back of your head the next time you want to buy something lip related, okay? Fourth thing, probably one of my favorites, is going to be the other big thing that I use with my depotting or my resurrecting of palettes is going to be the alcohol and a t-shirt to fix a broken pressed powder, right? So any sort of shadow or bronzer or anything that you would otherwise use where you have maybe dropped it or you've gotten down to the wire and it's starting to come up in mass quantities, you can take just a metal spoon or knife, a little bit of alcohol, you press down into that, you know, you make it evenly distributed, right, into the container, alcohol, and then the t-shirt you can press down in with a hard, you know, flat object like a can or a lid of some sort. You can press down enough to compress it back in there and evenly so that the product doesn't kind of get up all over everything once it hits a crack or an edge, right? So this is a great way to save your palettes. This is a great way to save your pressed powders or anything that you were otherwise thinking about chucking because it was getting down to the wire. I'm telling you, you can resurrect these. And furthermore, it is a great way to, if you are into depotting or depaleting the individuals to create a bigger, massive, you know, with the magnetic little strips on the back, it's a great tool to really bring together all of your hodgepodge different, you know, makeup products that are pressed powders and put them all in a nice, neat little organized container. And so then you can use them evenly and they don't just sit around and rot. And then you go through the things that you're using the most of and overpaying when your other makeup is just sitting there because it's not as user-friendly, right? So I've been able to make user-friendly, you know, they're fun packaging, but it just takes up too much space. And, or it's broken, like the lid's broken on it, and I'm like, well, I could throw it away, or I could just gut it out and put it in a better, you know, nice palette that is all organized based on the colors that I use the most, or different seasons or for different things. And it becomes such a great time saver for one, and then for two, I don't remember the last time I bought a palette or a shadow for any particular purpose other than I wanted to try a new color, right? So for the most part, all of the things that I have purchased for my kit and for my personal use have always been things that I've been able to save over the years and actually use because of this little trick. So I hope that this is another little tool that you've been able to use and utilize to be able to keep your powders and your palettes lasting the longest, okay? So the last little fifth and final tip, these brushes, right? Brushes, $35, $50, sometimes $100 for a foundation brush. Holy mother of like poo, that's ridiculous. That's unacceptable, okay? So if I can bear any wisdom into the makeup world, it's don't buy new makeup brushes. As the last bit of information I'm going to share with you about brushes is the best one for saving money too, because this is a tool that you're going to use every single day. You're going to spend a lot of money on your first good set, and you want to make sure that they're not, you know, taking you for a ride and they're still gluing in the bristles into the brush versus sewing them in. So the last little trick I'm going to show you is how you basically, you take the super glue to the end of the bristle once it pops off, and you just pop it back on. It's brilliant, and it's one of the best ways that I've been able to invest and build a collection for my personal and a giant collection for my professional kit that is all great brands that have, yes, still glued in their handle to their metal, you know, little counterpart there, but on the inside of that metal part is a woven in track of hair that is your brush. And so if you're investing in good brands and it just so happens to do this as you're washing brushes, as you should, you are going to find that it soaks out the glue. And that's okay, because as long as you know that you can take super glue, a couple little drops, pop it back on, you're good to go. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this resourceful. If you want to find any cosmetic tips and tricks that I got for you, and you're curious to know what else I got up my sleeve, or if you're scouring the internet and you want to make it, you know, simple, just tune in and let me know if you want to see a second part on the Cosmetics Savers episode. But for right now, I'm going to tell you, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will bring to you a 2 and a 3 part to this on how I save money with both skincare and health and nutrition products. So as always, thank you guys again, and I will see you around.